This is White Witch, a Pennsylvania metal band that has been active since the 1980s. I sat down with lead vocalist Jeff Pittenger to talk about White Witch past, present, and future, and his new project, Monster Track Supergroup, that features Brett Alexander from the Badleys and Jeremy Hummel, formerly of Breaking Benjamin. The first thing we dove into was the history of White Witch.
I would say we're probably the first all-original heavy metal act in Pennsylvania, which started in '84. And we are the new wave of British heavy metal. And right out of the can, we recorded a couple original albums. We submitted a cassette tape to MTV's Metal Mania in the fall of '86. We were chosen as the #1 band in the nation, and they offered us a record deal with Combat Records. Dee Snider was the commentator, and Billy Sheehan from Talas was the other judge. And for various reasons, we turned that deal down. It was hard to do, but we did. And our goal, we all knew that may be our last chance, but there were things and reasons that were against our moral values that we determined we weren't going to do it. And now 30 years later, we're actually in position to make that dream come true. We're more talented and more determined and dedicated today than we ever were 25 years ago. The first one we recorded at Ascension Studios in Northumberland. That came out in 1988. Then we released one in 2002, The Power. We released another one in 2004, and Never Dies the Dream. And last year we just released a live DVD, and it's really cool. Back then, every night the bars would be packed from the front of the stage to the back of the building. There'd be 8, 9 rows deep, people at the bar trying to get drinks. Now everything's too convenient for people, and unfortunately we all have to take advantage of the way things are today, because it's the way the game's played, whether you like it or not, for better or worse. But back in the day, I mean, we would always have 400 people at our shows. We would continually break each other's record by 5, or I would ice to come in and get 412, we'd get 422, and that's what we did. Monster Track Supergroup was formed like 4 years ago. I had called a friend of mine, Brett Alexander, because a lot of my friends were telling me that, yeah, I can do heavy metal and so forth, but they've heard me sing intimate stuff. Female, black, white, any distance, age, genre, I can sing any of that stuff. I can sing it like a ringing a bell. And a lot of my friends were saying, you know, you need to record some classic 60s and 70s material and put it out with a really good band, because people need to hear you sing that. So I called Brett, because naturally he's one of my best friends, and he has his own studio, Saturation Acres. You know, he did Breaking Ben stuff, Grace's Downfall, Panacea, all the good bands. He said, well, I'm all for this. He said, well, I have a drummer just in mind. And I said, who would that be? And he said, that's Jeremy Hummel from Breaking Benjamin. And I almost fell down. I said, can you get him? He goes, for a project like this, I can get him. Every song is different. And most of mine are stories of my life, or things that I've written some good songs about past girlfriends. Our last Monster Track album has a track, an original called Adrian. It's really, really good too. You can't be doing it for the money. Bands will be broken up. I mean, in just in a 4-year period, we see 100 bands come and go, just in this area. I mean, it is not made to be easy. It's made for only the strongest to survive. And it's that way in nature, it's in that way of every level of society, and especially music. I know this is going to sound absolutely insane to people, but the reality of it is, I was born, my life was destined planned out. I've given up on the marriage thing. I passed on having kids. I passed on everything that 90% of the male population loves and has to have in their life. I survived 1,000 deaths. I've survived cancer several times, and the only thing that keeps me going is music. It's what keeps the dream alive, and my motto is never dies a dream. It's been the motto for White Witch for 28 years.
Still ahead on Off the Beaten Path, Chris and his camera. Do you want to learn more about the show, check out old episodes, or drop us a line and let us know where you want us to go? Visit offthebeatenpathshow.com. Tell us where you want us to go.